Everyone. Today I'd like to show you how I made this fall owl. I made it with a 4-inch paper mache egg, a couple dowel sticks, and some quikwood. A few weeks ago I took a class with Wendy Young 3 days in a row, and I was inspired by all the creative things she's made using quikwood, and I encourage you, if you have an opportunity, to take a class with her. I started with the 4-inch egg, and I drilled holes in the bottom, the pointy end, right about where I wanted my legs to be. And then I had used 2 dowel rods. I think these are about 3/8 inch. I just used what I had. You could have used a 1/4 inch too, and I cut them to about 3 inches long. Now, if you've never used quikwood before, it's a 2-part resin. When you open it up, you can see there is the darker outside circle and then the inside that's lighter. And what you have to do is you have to mix it together. And once you mix it together, you can work with it for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then it becomes hard. So I'm just going to cut off about 1/2 inch for my legs, to put my legs into the body, and I'm going to start working it. And it does take a little bit till you get this all mixed together. And you notice you'll want to mix it till it's a solid color, it's not marbled. Once you mix it, just divide it into 2. And I'm going to use DecoArt's extender and just put a little bit of that out. That will help you smooth out the quikwood as you work with it. But anyhow, I'm just taking my egg, and I'm almost just going to put a ball over top that hole and slide the hole in. And then I'm just going to start working with this, and I'm going to use just a little extender to blend that clay down on the egg. Be careful not to use too much, or it'll get kind of gummy. And just extend it down the egg, and just decide. I kind of like when mine's a little bit shorter, so I'm going to move those legs down a little bit more. I like when he has short legs. And then just use the quikwood and extend it up the dowel rod. You see, if you, without the extender, it will tear a little. And then you're going to do the same thing with the other leg. And you're going to want to try to keep the legs about the same length. Now, it's going to take about 15 or 20 minutes for this to dry. So you don't want to put your feet on next, or you're going to have, they'll be moving around. You might lose all the hard work that you've done. So you can either just let them lay and come back in about 20 minutes. You can kind of keep checking them too. If you want one leg to kind of come out in front of the other, that looks kind of cute, or you can just keep them straight. Or you can start working on the face. So I'm going to start working on the face, and I'm just going to take about 1/4 inch of quikwood, I do see I have glitter here, which is hard not to have in my house. And again, I'm going to work the clay. When it's all kneaded, I'm just going to divide it in two. And then I'm just going to take just a little small portion off of that. And that's going to be for my pupil, or my eye, I should say. So there's two smaller portions and my larger piece. I'm just going to take a little bit off of each of these. I think I have enough here for my nose, or for the nose also. And then what I'm going to do is just do a ball, and I'm just going to kind of see where I want the eyes to be. And I'm just going to put them in place. I'm just going to put a little bit of that extender on the back of my hand. I'm just going to kind of pat them and stretch them out. So I get those big dots kind of flat. And you can kind of make them as big as you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of my little tools. I'm just going to pull a few little lines around the edges of the eye. And it's probably easier to do this before you put the eyeball on top. And then take those two little balls for the pupil or the eye and just put them on top. And again, you can pat them down. Just kind of center them. And get them about the same size. Lay that there so he doesn't roll. And then I'm going to take the clay for the nose. I'm just going to make a little beak shape. I'm going to put it on there. And whoops, I want it just below my eyes there. You can push it down a little, but I'm just going to let it sit like that, and as it hardens, then I'm going to actually shape it up. So just let it go. And now we can do the little sort of ears and forehead. So again, I'm going to take just a little bit, about a ½ inch or so. I'm going to mix that up. Okay, just divide that in two balls. Try to get them about the same size. And then what I want you to do is create a cone, just rolling with your hand, and get it about 3/4 to, or I'm sorry, get it about 2 inches long, 1 1/4 inches, 2 inches long. See, my one looks a little bigger than the other. So I'm just going to, that'll be okay. So now what I want you to pick it up, and with the fatter side, start just above your eye and have it go over part of that little outside edge, and just bring it over, and however you want to shape it, and have the little ends stand up. And what we're going to do again is that clay starts to set, we'll keep going back and having that little curl stand up. And again, over your eye and have it come over and come up. And so what I'm going to do at the back here, I'm just going to press and pull it down, but not the front, just the back. Press it in place. And then I'll just keep going back, and well, I kind of lost my point there on that one, but I'll just keep going back and checking it to get those little edges. And kind of keep that, shape it the way you want it. If you lost the inside of your eyebrow, just give it a little dent. Push it up there just a hair. Okay, I'm going to let that sit a little. And now I'm going to go back and I'm just going to cut just kind of below the point a little on each side to separate the mouth. And then I'm just going to take that bottom edge, just going to pull it out a little. I'm going to take the top and just kind of pull on it and work it a little to make it a little longer. And if you want, you can just curl it down just slightly. Okay, I'm going to let that set and we're going to make the wings. So depending how big you want your wings to be, take about 3/4 of an inch and mix it together. If you check already, you can feel that your legs are starting to set up. They're still, they get a little warm when they're starting to set up. When you're done, divide it into 2. And then just take it and start to roll it into a little cone where you're really just kind of rolling the palms or the edges of your hand together. And get it as long as you want. Now one thing, it will get a little longer as you go once you start pressing it on. And I have those about 1 3/4 inches. I'm just going to flatten them a little bit with the palm of my hand. And then I'll pick them up, and if you want them to go out, I'm just going to put them in place. And you can kind of twist the end if you want. You can flatten it more if you want. Oop. And then you can use, if you want to put any little texture, you can use some of your little tools, your clay tools. Again, you check your mouth if it needs it. Again, you can work on the little, keep pulling your ears up. And then check your legs, and if they're not dry, you're just going to want to wait until they're dry. So I'm just going to let mine sit a few minutes, and then I will be back and we'll put the feet on.